Okay, cool. So I'm going to record it, and then if people jump on later, that's fine too. What I wanted to talk about tonight, and Ashley, I know you're literally brand new to this, so chime in if you're confused. But for Lauren and then for other people who are going to come on later, I really wanted to talk about starting February off strong and kind of Success Club and back to basics a little bit. So Ashley, have you heard of Success Club yet?
Yes, a little.
Okay, so that's kind of what we use as a marker for our business. And so it basically is kind of what shows that you're moving your business forward. So the first benchmark is Success Club 5 is kind of where you want to, that's for me, that's my non-negotiable. Like every month I will hit that. And what that translates to is 3 people. It's like,
right.
I will help.
They talked about that in the earlier call.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of my non-negotiable. For me personally, Melanie, who's my coach, was like, that's your non-negotiable. So I just hit it and no one told me otherwise. So I've just done it every month. And now it's like, oh, I can do this. So then I had a month where I hit 10. I was like, okay. So now 10 is my non-negotiable. We'll see how that plays out. But I just think if you have that as a baseline, that's really helpful. And if you want to do this as like moving forward as like a legitimate business and not just like, oh, this is kind of fun, you need to be hitting that consistently. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. And then I also wanted to share, let's see here, if I can do this. I'm going to share something with you guys. I can find it here. Lauren, while I'm looking for this, is there anything that would be helpful for you to go over at all?
Not really. I just feel like the last couple months have been super crazy, as you know.
Seriously, car accidents.
Yeah, and it just keeps getting crazier and crazier with dealing with everything. And I was talking to my husband about it tonight, and just talking to him about how I can kind of ramp this up. And it's just we were just talking about how crazy it's been those last 2 months. And he's like, if this is something that you want to do, I totally support you. But I think if life is overwhelming, tomorrow, for example, he's leaving for a business trip. And so it's obviously my main focus has to be my son tomorrow. And so it's probably not going to be as easy for me to be doing a ton of stuff.
Totally.
So it's trying to balance all that out. And so I think for me, it's just really, trying to stay with the basics, which has been so hard because it's not saying I shouldn't not have time for it, but I listened to the call a couple days ago of last week that you guys did.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel I just kind of need to, how you were talking about reevaluating time and stuff like that. And I think for me, what I'm going to try and start doing is really trying to get up before my son gets up. And then that way, by doing that, I can set aside a little bit more time to kind of go through.
I think all of you guys on the call right now are all moms with young kids. And I know some of us work full time, some of us stay at home, some people are kind of mixed. And I think that is, well, I don't know. I always laugh when my single friends are like, I don't have any time. I'm like, really?
Right. Yeah.
So much time. Right. So I think it's really the priority piece, Lauren, you're saying of and what I've kind of come to the conclusion of is I'm super competitive and super driven. And I know that not everybody is. And so as a coach for our team, I want to run with you if you want to run.
Right.
And if you're not running, that's okay. You don't have to. But so let me know where you're at. For me, I was the why that we talk about is so big in my life of I want to use this so that I can come home from work and be with Caleb full time. But I also really like working and want to still be fulfilled and contributing to our family. So it's this seems really cool. So for me, it's if I want this to work, I have to fit it in. So it's getting up at 5:30 in the morning, which sucks, but I do it. I can't remember the last time I watched something on Netflix that wasn't Caleb's Chuggington or Thomas the Train or something.
Yeah, no, I hear.
Because it's okay, at night once he goes to bed, I'm doing this or doing invites. So it's kind of that prioritizing. And then, did any of you guys listen to the Monday night call last night that the Dream Team did?
I haven't been able to yet.
Okay, no, it's okay. Well, I'll repeat a lot of the stuff in it, but it was really good. And just talking about kind of going back to those basics and what time you have, figuring out, okay, if I really want this to work, what are the most important things to do to move my business forward? So for me, it's like scrolling through Facebook, trying to figure out what to post is not going to move my business forward. Right. And as much as I hate inviting, like I've gotten over that and have learned how to phrase things. So it's like, I know that inviting moves my business forward. So I will always do that first. Or if I don't do it in the morning, I will literally not go to bed until I have invited 3 people. It's like, I cannot go to bed. So kind of setting those little non-negotiable things of dialing in, okay, I know posting 3 times a day. So sometimes on the weekends, like I'll write some posts out and just save them on the notes section of my phone. And so then when the day is really busy, those can pop up. Or if you see me post like a cute motivational quote from Pinterest, you know, oh wow, Abby's swamped, but she's still going to get her post in. Like she's still going to have that post today. And I'll somehow tie it in, but it's not like I've had a ton of thought in it. So I think for you, like figuring out, okay, what is it that drives my business forward? And how do I do those things? And I think that sometimes people really overcomplicate it. And it can be overwhelming of like, oh my gosh, where do I even start? Like, this is so big. But it's like, okay, I'll just break it down. If my goal for this month is Success Club 5, then that means, okay, I need to have 3 people. If I know statistically, which this is true, that 1 out of every 10 people will buy something or respond, then if my goal is 3 people, I need to send out 30 invites this month. That's 1 a day. Like you can kind of break it down into those little bite-sized chunks, and having those really specific goals helps. So I literally I wrote out, it's like Caleb scribbled all over it, but I literally sat down the other night and wrote out like my February goals, and I just have it on my table. I'm going to write a couple of them down and put them on my computer at work just so they're visually there. So for me, it's Success Club 10. It's hitting Success Club 5 by the 10th. I'm at 0 right now. So we'll see how that goes. They did on the Dream Team call the other night. One girl's at like 21 on the 1st. I was like, what the heck? Yeah, it's insane. But like very specific. So for me, it's like, I want to be at Success Club 5 by the 10th. I want to have 2 new coaches on our team this month. And those are for me, my goals. And I have them written out, and I'm going to look at them every day and be like, okay, for those things, what do I need to do? Do I need to be distracted at figuring out blog posts? Well, if that doesn't contribute to my goals, then no. So kind of for you, what is that does it? I think that for you guys, like I genuinely believe, because I've done it, that every single person can hit Success Club 5 this month. You totally can. And I think if you haven't hit it before, it can seem kind of intimidating. It's not. Like, I promise, if that's just like what you're going to do, you can totally do it. And the nice thing is once you hit that 5, it's kind of this magic number where you actually start to see more of an income, because that's over $100 right there. And then it kind of gets the motivation rolling of like, okay, I can do this. And if you have a why of like going back to, why is it that I wanted to sign up to be a coach? Like, what is that deep down gut check reason that's scaring me? That's going to push you forward. And so for me, like wanting to be able to come home, I honestly don't care what people think. Like, I don't want to do salesy posts and be obnoxious, because I have friends who do that and it's dumb. And I'm still friends with them actually, so that I can see them and be like, that's not what I want to do every time I see one of those come up. So for me, it's like, I do care to an extent. Like, I want to be genuine. I want to be myself. But at the same time, it's like, I am going to post a workout picture every day. If I don't post it, it didn't happen for me, because I know this moves my business forward. And being a stay-at-home mom to Caleb is so much bigger than what some random person can do. Does that make sense? So, yeah, so I don't know if I don't know what's going on there. Melanie, I think your phone might need to be muted. Let's see here. I don't know if I can mute it. Anyways, so I would just kind of go back to the basics on those things, of think about what is it that's the most important, and then just start. Like, I think getting moving is the most intimidating. I don't know. I think, Andrea, we've talked about this before, of like inviting, of like, you just almost have to like close your eyes and do it, and then it's really easy. Like,
yeah, and everybody's super nice about it. Like, if you're nice about it, they're gonna be nice back.
even if it's a no, it's like, it's not that big of a deal. You know, like if you were going to say like, hey, do you want to come over for lunch one day? And somebody was like, no, I can't right now. Like it wouldn't be a big deal. And it's just kind of the same thing. You know, you're just inviting them.
Totally.
It doesn't matter if they say no.
Yeah. And I don't know, Andrea, if you've had this happen yet, but I've now had people who said no originally come back now. So it's like, you just keep it real friendly, and if you're not super salesy about it, of just like, hey, I'm doing this. Like, join if you want. And then I keep posting about it. Like, Andrea, you had that awesome post today of your husband drinking Shakeology. You just keep posting of like, this is our life, and people start watching. And like, Lauren, you've had some awesome food ones lately, and workout ones and stuff, like with your kiddo, like just showing your life of like, this is what I do. So I think that consistency really pays off over time. So I would say get moving. Don't let the fear of like perfection stall you. Like, I was looking over the other day at a couple of my older posts, and they were horrible. They were so bad, and just like the worst picture, but I just did it anyways. It's like, what the heck? I don't have an hour to sit here and construct the perfect selfie and the perfect wording, and I've gotten better over time, but just do it. Like, just jump in and do it. And you can even, like, one thing that I've started to do is, when Melanie does the dream team calls, at the beginning of each call, she does like little shout outs of Success Club points and stuff. You guys have seen that. I kind of stalk those people on Facebook. Like, we'll follow them because they're doing really well. And Melanie is awesome, but she's like the top of the top. So I can't compare to her. But those people that are hitting like 15 and 20 Success Club points or getting shouted out for certain things, like, they're only a year or so ahead of where we are. And that's some kind of like, I just kind of watch them, not to like copy and paste what they're doing, but just to get ideas of like, how are they phrasing things? Like, sometimes you just get stuck. And then personal development. I know I keep talking about this, but like for me, I'm rereading The Compound Effect, which Andrea, I know you like. And I get a lot of my post ideas from that. Of like, this really inspired me today, and I want to inspire someone else. So I'm not going to do anything related to like Beachbody, but when I'm talking about my workout or how hard it was to get up or whatever, like, I'm going to throw that in there of some things that I've taken away. So it's just adding value to people's lives. So don't get stalled up by like, oh my gosh, it's not the perfect post. Like, just post it. And if it's bad, that's okay. You'll get better. And then I would say just like, keep your expectations simple. Like, I'm sure you're all wonderful people. You're not going to be a multi-millionaire next month. I mean, maybe you will be if you're in the lottery, but like set realistic goals for yourself, but do set them. Like, write that sticky note down and put it up, and then just start taking those steps of like literally breaking it down, like that Success Club thing. So for me, it's like, if I want to hit Success Club 10 this month, well, okay, how many people is that? So how many invites do I need to do? And then it just breaks it down by day. So I'm not scrambling at 11:30 at night the last night trying to get there. So yeah, keeping it really, really simple. I think if you want to I took a bunch of notes here, so I'm looking down here. If you want to have it be a business, like, you have to treat it like one. But like Lauren, you were saying, it's hard to find the time when you have a little kiddo at home and it's busy. So figuring out creative ways for you of like, whether that's optimizing a nap time or listening to, you don't have time to read a book, but you can put on something while you're folding the laundry or cooking dinner or whatever, like just getting creative with how it works in your life. Does that help? Ish.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay. One thing that I wanted to show you guys, I'm going to do a screen share. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. You can see like the million tabs that I have open. So in your back office, have you guys been in the news and trainings tab before in here?
No.
Okay. So up here at the top, there's news and training. And this is actually pretty cool. So if you click on this training tab, this is the screen that pops up. And if you're someone who's kind of thinking like, for instance, Ashley, I know you're in the middle of the new Coach University, so they're going to cover a lot of this. But if you're like, hey, what the heck, I want to read ahead, like, you can click on this getting started thing or this coach thing. And this really breaks down a lot of things for you guys. Once you hit Emerald rank, or like if you're close to it and really wanting to know, like, what do I do next? These are things. So you can click on it, and this is called the Leadership Ladder, and it's pretty cool. it has like a do this, know this, learn how. And so these are the things that, and it's been put together by the top coaches in the company. So these are the things that you need to do, like connect with people, invite people, 3 challenge packs. That's the Success Club 5, 10 minutes a day in personal development. And then they have links to like training things or helpful activities, stuff like that. On the know this, it's like, okay, what are the 3 vital behaviors? Do you know your story and how to share that? Do you know what fitness programs are on promotion and the ones that you're doing? Just kind of the basics. It has you learn how. So then it links you to all these different tools that you don't have to print them out and use them. Like I use some of them, but not others. Like I just am trying to get really good with using the business activity tracker here, so it'll take you to this PDF where like I can literally write down every day and just like check the box. Like, did I do personal development? Did I do 3 posts a day? So it just has all these tools for you guys, and it's almost probably more than you need, but it's just nice to know there's a spot that you can go. And then this would be the kind of the benchmark that you want to look at. So the business starter benchmarks is where you guys are at. So it'd be looking at $100 in commissions a month, Success Club 5. So this is where you want to stay. For those of you who are actually like Andrea, I'm thinking you, since you've had a kind of a good month the last couple months, like if you're like, okay, I really want to start thinking like, what's the next step? Well, you can look at Emerald and Ruby because that's that next rank there.
Sure.
This is written for people who are there, but you can look ahead and be like, okay, what is this about? What are these things that I need to be doing that will move my business forward? So power hour of focused activity. We talked about that a little bit on the last call, but for me, like I don't have an hour straight in the day that I can do. So I do a half hour in the morning after my workout or before it. And then I do it at night as well once Caleb's gone to bed. So it's just kind of a helpful resource for you guys to be able to dig in a little bit deeper if you want it. So I know some people like to like read ahead and do things. So that's kind of just a helpful thing. Let's see here if I can get my screen stop sharing now. Okay, I'm back. Hi. Is that a helpful tool? Did you guys know about that one?
Yeah.
Okay. What I wanted to do next, kind of with our calls, not tonight because I need to like prepare more, but one thing that I wanted to start really talking that I've been learning in some of the groups that I'm in with Melanie is really pitching to your niche and figuring out like, who is my target person? Because I can put like a bazillion posts out there, but the reality is like, I'm not going to, I mean, they might be. 40-year-old women are not going to relate to me. 18-year-old college girls are not going to relate to me. But moms with young kids or like young working professionals or people who like Chip and Joanna Gaines or like Fixer Upper or whatever, like those people will relate to me. So kind of like I wanted to start having those conversations with you guys starting next week of like, what is my niche? Who is my target market? So I'll do that. But are there things that would be helpful for you guys, for us, and we can cover them tonight, but even in the future, like wanting to know more information on certain things, or do you feel like you're struggling with certain topics or like getting pushback from people?
I think for me, the biggest thing is everyone's commenting on the price. And like I try and approach it like because I know for me, that was the biggest thing when I first started to was like, oh gosh, I just don't have money right now, but I want to do it. So for me, it's just getting over that hurdle of people saying like, oh gosh, it's a lot of money right now, or, maybe in a couple months or something like that.
Totally.
So for me, that's been, I think, the biggest hurdle is people. And, for me at least, looking at it, because, as a family with a kid and everything, it's hard financially, and I get that. So I obviously don't want to be pushing those people who are in that financial situation, because I know how it is to be not 100% there.
Yeah.
So I guess that's, for me, the biggest thing. And, I've seen a lot of people like posting about how they talk about how much gym membership costs and things like that. And, but at the same time, I don't want to poke too much with those people. Then it's like they might just never come back. So,
yeah. Andrea, have you, because I can definitely jump in here, but since you're doing a bunch of stuff, how have you kind of combated that?
Actually, that's
Have you
a
gotten
good
pushback there yet?
Is that like, yeah, a lot of people, they really want to do it, but they just don't really have the money right now, or they don't want to spend money right now. And so I guess what I'm learning is just learning how to like explain the product so it seems worth it to them. That's just something I'm kind of still learning about.
Totally.
In the end, it is worth it.
Yeah. I think there's kind of two approaches that you can do. One of them is proactive and one of them is reactive. And because I work as an admissions counselor, my job is to sell a university. And so like, we don't call it a sales job, but that's really what it is like convincing someone that they should spend $40,000 to go to the school. So I feel like I kind of have a leg up on you guys a little bit in that because I do that every day. So it's been a huge blessing in kind of the business and how I approach it. So when we're talking with like a prospective student, or how I incorporate it into my business, is first of all, if I'm starting to get a lot of pushback from people, I will start throwing things into my posts that address that. So like I did a post the other day with Caleb in our garage, like he was playing with his bulldozers while I was working out. And I was talking about like, I love doing this because there's no excuses. Like it's in my garage. I can hang out with my son. I don't have to drive to the gym. Like, and just addressing like, this is cheaper than a gym membership, because it is. And then here's all the perks. Like I can just roll out of bed and go. I don't have to pay for daycare, like hitting that. I've done a post before, and I can find it and share it in our group if you want. And you guys can totally copy and paste anything I do. I do not care. Where I just did a post about why I love Shakeology so much, because I've been getting a ton of pushback on that. And I was just like, I love chocolate. I have the world's biggest sweet tooth. I will eat literally an entire bag of chocolate chips out of our pantry. It's terrible. It's also cheaper than Starbucks. It's $4 a serving. So I kind of just broke down, and I phrased it not in like a Shakeology's on sale this month, guys, you need to try it, but more of like, this has been a lifesaver to me. Today was insane, and here's all the reasons I love it. Super cool. And so kind of just posting that out there so then people are seeing that. And then when I'm responding to messages, like Andrea, you were saying how to explain the value, I will break it down like with the 21-day fix, because I think that's the one that most people get connected with. I'll like break it out of like, you get, like list it. You get 7 different workouts with one of the top trainers. You get an entire portion control system. And I'll even break out the nutrition part. Like you get portion control containers. You get a meal plan. You get recipes. You get my support. Like, and list it all out literally and break it down and be like, and that's only like, that's just that. And you get to keep that part. And then Shakeology, if you like it, great. If not, you can either return it and get your money back or just cancel it. Most people end up liking it. But I'll kind of like list out all the benefits for them and almost explain to them why it's a benefit. Because if they haven't done something like that before, they don't get it. So I'll kind of list out like, it comes with 7 different workouts that focus on a different part every day. So you don't get bored and it keeps things mixed up. And they're 30 minutes long, so I can fit it in during nap time or, you know, after my son's gone to bed really quickly. So as I'm explaining the product, I'm also putting that value in of like, it's doable for you if you're a busy mom, or you don't get bored if you're like worried about, oh, I don't do cardio. Well, you're not going to do cardio every day, or, you know, kind of like mixing it up. Then with the nutrition part, I break it up of like, it's super simple and you get told exactly what to do. And with Shakeology, I found myself eating the crusts off of Caleb's sandwiches that he didn't want for lunch. And now I'm not doing that. And I like am healthier than I've ever been. And so as you explain it and break it down, you kind of like tell them why it's worth it, if that makes sense. And a lot of times people are like, oh yeah. Or I'll link, like put in the YouTube video clip, because there's a really great 21-day fix one in there that Autumn did, or kind of just like explain it all. And sometimes people do say like, that's awesome, but I can't afford it. And sometimes people are like, oh, great. Or most of the time, the people who say no, like I said, end up coming back later and are like, what was that again? Like, I really need to lose these last 10 pounds. So does that help?
Yeah, it definitely.
Okay, I think as you, like, one of the biggest things is, like, if you just own it and are confident in it, people will sense that, because people can see through BS. And if you don't honestly believe in what you're doing, no matter what it is, like, just life in general, like, people can tell if you're not sincere and you don't buy it. But if you genuinely are like, I love this. It changed my life. I love being a coach, and here's why, if you're trying to recruit coaches. Or I love the 21 Day Fix, and here's why. And like, just share from who you are. People who you are contacting are attracted to you. Like, they're not coming to me, they're coming to Lauren, or they're coming to Andrea. And so they want to hear why you like it, and not why someone else does, but specifically like what it's done for you. And Lauren is like a busy mom. You can relate. Like, I know money is tight, and here's how we fit it in. And here's like how it's brought value to our lives. Or having to like meal plan for this thing actually ended up saving us money, because we had to, I think, didn't you do a post that it saved you guys money? I think you posted it in the group. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like $75.
Seriously. So like, that is a post right there. Like, that would be one of those like proactive posts where you could break down like, and think about it like while you're cooking dinner, or what, you know, posting it at a time when people might be reading after dinner, where you can be like this, or on Sunday, like whenever you do your meal plan, like, here's my meal plan or my grocery list for the week. And it's so crazy because my family's healthier than we've ever been, and we're actually saving money by doing this. Like, that's real life that people want to hear, you know? Because I think that is incredible. I think a lot of people think, oh my gosh, it's way too expensive to eat healthy. It's like, no, you don't have to shop at Whole Foods every day. Like,
Right.
you can do it on a budget. You can do it smart. You can find meals that your 2-year-old will eat. And like your quinoa recipe you posted, but then I saw in the comments, you were like, yeah, James just eats chicken strips, but I make a really good one, so I know what he's eating.
Yeah.
Things like that, I think really helps people. So you're doing a good job. I think you can just kind of like start phrasing it of like, okay, what am I getting pushback on? And then how can I turn that into a positive for people?
No, that's great. I like that a lot.
Yeah. What else would be helpful for you guys? If anything. I have a super cheesy thing to share. I have 2 things. The first one is, I was looking back, and I have hit, like I said, Success Club 10, because I made it like a non-negotiable for myself. But in October, I hit Success Club 26. I still don't know how I did it. I honestly don't. I don't know what I did. I've like tried to go back and figure it out. Like, how can I duplicate that crazy one? And I don't know. But what I do know is that October was horrible. Like, talk about busy. I was traveling every other week for work, away from home. And I was doing college fairs. So I would be literally out meeting students from like 9 a.m. to 11 o'clock at night with crazy lunch breaks. And then every weekend when I got home from a work trip, Caleb had an ear infection. It was horrible. Like, it was just an awful, awful month. But that month I hit Success Club 26. And I think for me, I always come back there when things get hard, because I'm like, if I could do that then. And that month I didn't have time. And so I literally had to dial back to the basics. And every day in my hotel, I'd be like, okay, not going to bed until I've invited 3 people. I will do my 3 posts a day. I don't care what they are. I will do them. Like, because I was like, I don't have time to do anything other than the basics, but I'm going to kill those ones. And so it's like, I know it can be done. And I'm not saying you guys are all going to go out and hit Success Club 26, because I haven't done it again yet. But just know, like, if you want it bad enough, you will find a way to make it work. Also, with that said, you don't want to sacrifice your family. You don't want to sacrifice, like, if you make your way to the top of the world and you lose all the people you love, like, that's not worth it. So, you know, obviously taking care of yourself and finding that balance, but just know, like, if you have that drive, you're going to figure out a way to do it in a way that's authentic to you. So that's one thing. Just like, you can do it. I believe in you. Motivation. The second thing is, like, this is super corny, but I'm a sucker for like inspirational, motivational stuff. So I like to read those things. So you get this. Do you guys know very much about eagles? Like bald eagles?
No.
Okay. This is like kind of gross and kind of sad, but also really cool. So we have 10 minutes left in our meeting, so I'm going to take last minutes. So, okay. So eagles can live for up to 70 years, but when they turn 40 or right around then, they have a choice. And basically when they turn 40, their body composition changes. And so their feathers get really, really heavy, and their beaks and their talons get really overgrown to where they can't like grab stuff with them anymore, and they can't fly. And so basically they have a choice to die or change, which is crazy and depressing. So what they'll do, and this is where it's like super gross and super sad, but it's crazy. They will go to a mountain, and for 105 days, I think it's 5 months, they will literally, this is so gross, guys. I'm really sorry. But they will pound their beak on a rock until it breaks off and that new one grows in. And then when that is gone and they have their new beak, they will pull out all of their feathers and all of their talons until they get their new ones. I know, it's disgusting. But after that whole process is gone, they live for another 30 years, which is awesome. And it's like, I think it's the coolest lesson of like really disturbing and sad, but also motivational of like, you're going to come to points in your life, whether it's Beachbody or just parenting or your marriage or like whatever it is, where you can choose to like die and just accept the way things are, that they're hard and they suck, or to change. And that process can be really painful and it can be really uncomfortable. But I think that the greatest success and the greatest change in your life come from when you are willing to take that step outside of your comfort zone and to push when it may be a little hard. And for like Beachbody stuff directly, it's like, okay, like for instance, Team Cup, for those, I think Andrea, you're on my Team Cup team, like, okay, I'm going to send a ton of invites this month and it's going to make me uncomfortable and I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it because I know this is going to move me forward. Or for like parenting or whatever, like, okay, do I just like turn on Thomas the Train, or do I like sit down and have a conversation about like his acting out instead of just like sticking in front of the TV and letting him just zone out? Like, I think choosing those, like, you don't always have to choose the hard thing, but like knowing there's going to be points for you where you can choose to accept things or to go through a little bit of hurt and know that there's going to be a lot of blessing on the other side. And I think that God has called us to that personally. So a little inspiration for you. Hopefully it's not too gross. I just thought that was a cool story and one that it's kind of encouraging, because if the Eagles can do it, we can totally do it too. Is there anything for next week for those of you guys who can be on live or will listen to it later? I'm going to talk about that, like finding your niche kind of thing of like, who am I trying to talk to? But then is there anything else that'd be helpful to go over more or to have me post in our team page about or give you guys resources for? No. You're all set. I don't want to ever, I like have all these things I want to share in our team page, but I don't want to overwhelm you with like bombarding you with stuff. So I did share in there my calendar for February of like, I'm doing a challenge group that just started. Ashley, you're in it, just so you could like see how it's done. So feel free to do as much as you want in it or just be a fly on the wall. It doesn't matter to me. I'm doing a free clean eating group next week that I'll start posting about probably the middle of this week, where it's just totally free. But my strategy with it is that I'm going to post about like, hey guys, it's a free group. I'm going to give you all the meal plans and the recipes for 7 days, like what is clean eating. But then the catch for it is they're going to have to sign up a free Beachbody account where they don't have to buy anything, but they will sign up for an account and I'll be their coach. And that way, when I send out monthly emails, they're going to get all my emails about like, hey, I'm running this challenge group. Or at the end of that 7 days, I'll message them and be like, hey, if you liked this and liked getting recipes or feel like you want more of this, like I'm starting a challenge group next week. So it'll kind of funnel in to that. So there's some strategy there. You guys are more than welcome to invite people to that if you want to help me with it. It doesn't matter to me, or you can just, I can share all of what I'm doing and you can do your own if you want to do something like that. And then I'm doing a challenge group at the end of the month as well, that if you guys are wanting to co-lead or anything like that, you're more than welcome to jump in with me on. So it just is like, whatever you feel like you need from me, just let me know. And then one thing, and I'll probably talk about this a little bit more later, but I am going to do on, I think it's the 18th or the 20th, like a sneak peek into coaching. And so if you guys have people that you think might be interested in that, learning more, you can invite them to that. And I'm going to do a couple little videos and share them. And you, if you want to do one, or if you invite people, I'll probably ask you to participate in that too, but just to kind of share a little bit what coaching is, which I know is uncomfortable and scary and you feel like you're out of your comfort zone, but just know that's at the end of the month and you don't have to, but you can. So those are kind of what I've got coming up. And I shared that calendar in our page, and I'll kind of share some of my other scripts that I'm doing if that's helpful for you guys. Oh, and one other thing. Sorry, I feel like I keep talking about that. I just shared, you may have seen it today. There's a Go for No challenge that I just shared a PDF of in our challenge group. I will be talking to the girls that are doing the Team Cup with me about it, but this is something that I did in August that moved me from a coach to an Emerald coach. And it's super simple, and I'll actually share the invite script that I did. But basically, my goal was to invite 100 people that month, which is really hard. I actually didn't even do it. I think I got to like 70 something. It was harder than you think. But I literally would send out a message. I'd message like 50 people one afternoon. And I had the phrase of like, hey, I'm in this fun competition with my group. And I just wanted to reach out. I'm trying to reach 100 people and get 100 no's, because that's how you phrase it, of like trying to get 100 no's. So if you're not interested, please say no so I can check you off my list. Well, really, it's like a way of you inviting that's kind of beating around the bush a little bit of like, here's what I'm doing. You can say no. And it gives people an easy no. But half the time they'll be like, oh, I'd like to learn more about this. And you're like, yes. So that one is so that's what that sheet is that I shared. And I literally would just like go through and write people's names in it. And if they said yes, I'd like highlight them in green. If they said no, I'd highlight them in red, and that way I could keep track of like follow up. And then if they said no, I would follow up with them and be like, great, that's totally fine. No pressure. Is this something that you'd like me to let you know about when I run my next group? Because it might have been like, oh, I'm getting married, or, oh, I'm pregnant, or whatever. And sometimes they'd be like, yeah. So I'd be like, perfect. Write them down to follow up with later. So that's just kind of something that's kind of helpful it's not something you want to do every month, because you're going to run out of people to message, or people will keep getting the same message from you, which is awkward. But it is a good thing to do every couple months to kind of get that momentum going for you. So I'll share the actual invite script that I did so that I messaged to people, and you guys can use that if you want to or tweak it, but that's what that is. So is there anything else? We have like 2 minutes left before our free time runs out. No, you're all set. And Ashley, you're just like, what the heck did I get myself into? They're talking about eagles and
No, I'm excited to start. I just not there yet.
no, and you do not have to be. You're like at day one, so you're totally fine. Andrea and Lauren, do you guys have any words of wisdom for Ashley, since you guys are more seasoned coaches now? I totally put you on the spot.
I think it's just, I have had a hard time with it just because of everything that's been going on, and I've only been doing it since January 1st. So staying consistent with your posts, I think, is really important. And, it is definitely hard to get people to even respond, but Abby has been really great as far as answering questions if you have issues, or just being there to encourage you. So I think, and everyone really has been. Everyone in this group is, really encouraging if you have questions or anything like that. So just keeping persistent on things, and yeah.
It's a good group. You guys are doing awesome too. I have been really impressed and I think I haven't done this for a full year yet, albeit a year in May, but I think that like November, January, February for sure seem like the hardest months so far that I've done, because I think people are just busy. So you guys are doing awesome, and I think as you continue to be consistent, you're going to see that in a couple months totally pay off. So also, you guys, I'm going to do a little Success Club prize for everyone who hits Success Club 5 in our team page, so a little motivation for you. I'll be sending out some fun stuff, because I like giving prizes away. Well, thank you for taking time tonight. I appreciate it, guys. And obviously, message me if there's anything that I can help you guys with, okay?
Great. Thanks, Abby.
Yeah, talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.